We all remember what happened a few months back in November of last year. The world was shocked when suddenly 1/3 of the Migos passed away after attending a dice game at a Houston bowling alley. The incident that happened never made sense to me, as the story that was told seemed odd. This led me from the moment that this happened to further look into what took place that Halloween night, and what I found was telling me a completely different story. It's important to note that when all of this happened, the Migos weren't as popular as they once were. They were falling off. Their time in the limelight was expiring. They were no longer the biggest artists. They weren't the type of artists that were filling up stages anymore. They definitely had their fan base, but their time had passed. You know, they once dominated the Billboard charts. Now they were fading away and were struggling to even get a hit song. It appeared that the industry had forgotten about the Migos and they were moving on to the next new thing. The Migos were also dealing with issues with their label QC, and they were robbing them for millions of dollars. They even led to the group's breakup when Offset left QC after bad business practices. Then right before the Migos would be forgotten to the masses, Takeoff would pass away out of nowhere, and it sparked interest in the remaining members of the Migos. We know how the industry works. We know what's the price for success in the industry. Just like Kanye stated, a sacrifice must be made to have success in the industry. He said that the industry is trying to traumatize, monetize, and it's true. We know that this is true. It appeared to me that what happened to Takeoff was sadly a ritual offering, and there's plenty of signs that we can find all over this situation. Many truth seekers like myself have noticed strange foreshadowing imagery that was displayed in the Messy music video, and it features Quavo and Takeoff, a video that came out the exact same day that they passed away, that Takeoff passed away. The Messy video came out on October 31st on Halloween, and like I said before, Halloween is an important night to the pagans and occultists. They use it for their rituals. That's the best day for them to perform rituals. That's when we see Wiccans and witches, pagans, they perform ritual offerings to Samhain. Quavo and Takeoff's Messy video showed very interesting imagery throughout the whole video, especially when after dropping that video, later that night, Takeoff would pass away. Once we see the videos and we can connect it together, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. There's 3 scenes in the video that seems to foreshadow what was going to happen at Takeoff. We've spoken about them before, but we're going to bring them back in because it connects to the new video. The first thing was in the very beginning of the video, Takeoff walks by a group of guys arguing over a gambling bet. This is eerie because we know that Takeoff later passed because of an incident that happened over a gambling bet. The next scene we need to talk about is the scene that shows Quavo on a bed. While Quavo's on the bed, he appears to be reading a document that states Migos contract. Quavo then puts the contract down and picks up his piece. Then he places one hand over his face with a sad look in his eye and almost looks at the contract like the contract is telling him to do something. The very next scene of the video is the most revealing of it all. The next scene shows Takeoff standing next to a RIP Reaper Halloween decoration poster. This is what made me realize instantly. This is where I saw that Takeoff was going to be offered. This is the moment that I came to that realization. It is not a coincidence that they showed Takeoff next to the RIP poster, then later that day he would pass away. It's obvious Takeoff was Quavo's offering, and this happened literally on Samhain. It happened on Halloween day. And we know that occultists do this to receive a good harvest. Since Takeoff passed, Quavo has had much more success. He got to perform at the Grammys. You know, he did that tribute, which to me, it didn't seem like a tribute. It seemed more like an honoring of a sacrifice. You know, in the Grammys performance, Quavo was dressed in all black, supposedly mourning the falling of his brother, while he was wearing a black mask that covered half of his face. We know what that black mask imagery represents. The mask that Quavo had on was showing the one-eye symbolism, and Quavo was holding Takeoff's chain. To me, this clearly appeared like Quavo was honoring his sacrifice for the good harvest that he was about to receive, and by that time he was already receiving. Recently, Quavo dropped a new video that showed some even more interesting imagery. I believe the music video is called Honey Bun, and it connects directly to Messy, in my opinion, because of some of the imagery that I can see in there. This video to me confirms that Takeoff was an offering for Quavo's good fortune. In the video, we see 2 very important scenes. In this video, we see 2 very important scenes. One scene that shows Quavo inside of a vault that's covered in money, and then it breaks away quickly to a shot of a file cabinet that says QC contract. This is not a coincidence, people. In the Messy video, Quavo was reading a Migos contract and showing himself with a piece. Then the next scene is Takeoff standing next to an RIP poster. Now in this video, they show the reference to the Migos contract or the QC contract. It's the same thing. And Quavo's literally standing in a vault full of money. We then see Takeoff in another scene wearing the same One Night Symbolism mask he wore at the Grammys. There's also another scene that shows Quavo outside of the vault, and behind Quavo there's a man wearing a hoodie and a black mask appearing like a Grim Reaper. It's obvious to me, all of this imagery points to Takeoff being a ritual offering. Quavo has been receiving all of this success, his streams are up, he performed at the Grammys, and the industry is once again talking about him. The industry is once again behind him. Now, no matter what no one says, there isn't this many coincidences in one situation without there being anything behind it. Especially, we spoke about the Messi video plenty of times. But then it connects to this, especially since he's showing us the same mask that he wore at the Grammys. He's showing us himself inside of this vault with all this money, what he received for what he did, for the offering he made. We have to remember, it's not a coincidence. Takeoff left this world October 31st. They said it was November 1st because it happened in the 1 a.m. and in the 2 or 3 a.m. hours, which is even more resembles a sacrifice and a ritual because that's literally the time that this happens. All of this is a sign to let us know that they chose Quavo to make this offering. I don't even think Offset had anything to do with this. That's probably why they were having this disagreement during the Grammy event backstage. You know, they were showing Cardi B having all this, you know, this giant problem that they had backstage, and it was being reported. Everybody heard about it. I think that Offset didn't know that this was going to happen. And I feel like, especially when we see the fact that they went on by themselves, they separated, they did their own things. Quavo and Takeoff had their own, you know, basically their own group at that point. And Offset was basically off to the side. But now we have Quavo, who's now literally gonna be, believe it or not, he's gonna have the support. He's gonna have a rebirth in the industry. His last song did 1 million views in 2 days. That's him by himself. He's usually releasing songs with an entire group. He never really releases that much songs. I think he did about a year ago, he released an album, but he made music with his crew, with the Migos, and that's how he was able to be successful. But now they're gonna try to market him as a solo artist. The proof is in the pudding. The QC contract, they show him the contract, he sees the contract. Now we're seeing they're referencing the contract again while he's in the vault, surrounded by money. It's very interesting, especially how so many people deny it when all the proof is in their face. All of the evidence is right in front of them. There's no reason to deny it.
Yeah, and we see this very often with groups, with music groups, whether it's band or rap groups. We see that they usually take the most successful one and try to branch them off by themselves. And with this group, Quavo was the most successful one. And I feel the same way that you feel. I don't think that Offset had anything to do with it, nor less knew that it was going to happen, because he wasn't even there when it took place. And the way that he grieved, in my eyes, is different than the way that I saw Quavo grieving.
Definitely. And even the way that they were saying, like, a lot of people didn't respect or didn't really feel that there was much pain in Quavo's speech at the Grammys. It just seems strange. This whole situation seems strange. The fact that Quavo stood quiet so long and he seemed to be taking Jay Prince's side or be, you know, not really standing up for his family member that's gone, more staying in the back of it, you know, like trying to avoid all the situation all in general. And that's exactly what he did. Quavo did not pop his face out anywhere. He kind of stood hidden for the longest.
I remember that I think it was only Takeoff was the only person that made a video talking about, can you guys please stop talking about it? You know, like, it's not necessary for you guys to keep bringing up what happened to his nephew, not to keep bringing up what happened to him, because, you know, he has loved ones that are hurting over this situation, and everybody just keeps saying it and saying it. While meanwhile, you have Quavo not saying nothing, not even caring, just looking the other way.
It never looked like Quavo was super hurt, like he's wanting to appear it to be. What I feel that it's obvious, he needed to be reinvented in the industry. He needed his second chance in the industry. He wanted to be at the top like Drake, and his time was fading away. He was known as a group. He was known as, you know, the Migos, the 2010s, and they barely made it to the 2020s with any type of relevancy. I believe that this was the moment that he said, you know what, I want to go to the next level. I want it all, and I want to be remembered as one of the biggest in the industry. And I feel that he made that offering. Like Kanye said, we have to look at a lot of people. I don't know why they do this to themselves. They kind of deny this, that what Kanye admitted. Some people say that Kanye is not admitting that his mom was a sacrifice, that this is just a misunderstanding, that Kanye wasn't really trying to say that. He said it out of his own mouth. Stop trying to make excuses for him. He literally said this out of himself. He wanted to admit this to the world. He wanted the world to know this. It was probably eating at his conscience. You know, he probably felt bad about it, but he wanted the world to know this. He wanted the world, and he said it. Like, if we look at the whole Donda thing, Kanye was honoring her with his Donda, but he was honoring her in a way to say that she was what rebirthed, you know, gave him that new life in the industry. When she passed, he was entered into the legend status in the industry. All he did was rise up at the cost of his mother. And this is exactly what's going to happen here. And it's so sad that so many people watch this and they don't see the imagery for themselves. They need to be able to wake up, because that one video, that one messy video, it tells you the story on its own. The messy video tells you the story on its own. You know, I'm pretty sure you guys, how do you guys feel about this? Do you think this is what happened? Do you believe Quavo had anything to do with what happened to Takeoff? Because, you know, some people think it's either Quavo or Jay Prince, but I believe that they were all involved, and I believe that Takeoff ended up being his offering. So what do you guys think? Let me see in the chat. I want to see what your guys' opinion is. If you look at the new video, the Honey Bun video, him in the safe with the contracts, that's not, come on guys. I know you guys, see, the people that follow me, I know that you guys understand, and I know that you guys can see it for yourselves. You guys are sharp. You guys have been following the channel for a while, and you guys are already looking out for this. But it's the other people that we need to get to, and we need to show them. Like, I don't think that someone can deny this. How could you deny, especially the scene in Messi when he's standing in front of right next to the RIP poster, and then later that day he's gone? I just want to give a special shout out to the Truth Movement members. I truly appreciate every single one of you. If you'd like to further support the channel, join the Truth Movement, or you can join me on Patreon, where I drop exclusive videos monthly. The link would be in the description. Another way you can further support the channel is by checking out the Truth store and seeing if you find anything you like. Every purchase you make goes directly to helping the channel and furthering Truth Records. Also, please leave a comment on your thoughts below and on any future topics you would like to see me cover on my channel. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified when I drop new videos. If you like this video, please leave a like, as it helps other people find these videos. You can also find me on TikTok and Instagram and follow me there for more truth. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.